Alright, John, so we're going to look at your blocks here. We're going to start with your start position, and then we'll move to your set position, and then we will look at what your drive looks like out of the blocks. So if I zoom in here on the left and look at some things, I'm going to tell you what I see right off the bat that's wrong and some things that are good. So let's start with the things that I feel like we need to change. I think you're too crunched up in the blocks. And the reason I say that is because I can kind of see the tiniest bit of your knee poking through past your arm. You can kind of see it like right there. And usually that's an indicator that you're a little too crunched up in the blocks. So what I would recommend doing is moving both of those pedals back about one spot or one notch. And I even think that you could use a little bit more separation between your pedals. So maybe move your front one back one spot and your back one back two spots. Something like that, just to give them a little bit more separation. And that way you get more drive and more push out of the blocks. Okay, some good things that I see. I like that your head and neck are neutral to your spine. I like that your shoulders are over top of your hands. And I like that this shin is parallel to the ground. Okay, those are all good indicators when you're looking at the start position. So let's move to your set position. We're going to fast forward here a little bit. And you'll see on the right screen it's a front view, and you're basically, blocks don't change too much between one and the other until you've worked on them for a little bit. So even though they're two different film settings, you probably have similar tendencies. So you have the front view and then the one that we're looking at the most, the side view. So let's look at yourself up in set position, okay? One thing that I didn't see change is displacement of your shoulders. Your shoulders should now be slightly in front of your hands, and they are still directly over top of your hands. So I don't know if you're a little timid to get that forward lean in the blocks or what's going on, but you want to make sure that your shoulders are slightly displaced in front of your hands. The other thing is I feel like your hips are a little too far up, okay? You usually want your hips to just be slightly above your head. And as you can see, they're a little too high. So you want to bring those down, okay? And remember, if our butt is too high up in the air, what's going to happen? We talk about equal and opposite reactions. We're going to go down into the ground and stand right up when we drive out of the blocks. I can tell even more now when you're in the set position that your pedals need to be separated a little bit more from each other. And the reason being, when I look at your angles, okay, I guarantee that they're very similar. Okay, they're only different by about 10 degrees. And that's not a big enough difference, okay? So we definitely want to make sure we move this pedal back at some point. Another thing that I want to see when you're in this position, and I can't really tell if you're doing it or not, it seems like you're not quite doing it with your back foot pedal, but you want to make sure that there's some connection there between your foot and the pedal. There shouldn't be any space there, because what happens is, I guarantee when we see you push here, watch your back foot, look at all that lag time when it had to push against the pedal. At first it had to find the pedal and then push off. You want your foot to be all the way up against it so that when you push off, you're getting a maximum drive and push out of the blocks. So let's zoom out here on the left side and the right side, and we're going to look at your initial drive out of the blocks. Okay, so this is the point in which you get full displacement out of the blocks, meaning at this point, both your feet are off the ground and there is no contact with the ground. And that's a good thing, and that's what you want. But when I'm freeze framing you in this position, by no means should this arm already be on its way back down. Okay? It should still be up here. Okay? big and powerful. Okay, remember, if our arms angulate big, our legs will angulate big. And that's what you want to happen when you push out of the blocks. So let's zoom out here and watch your next few strides. Okay, so you're decent. I think you have a decent drive out of the blocks. I think you just need to fix a few things and really hone in on those minor details to make sure you get a better block start. So you have a decent push out, and I think you were too quick to bring your arms back through. Decent push, okay? And back here, when we brought our arms back down too quickly, what we stopped from happening is keeping that low angle out of the blocks. So I guarantee that when you pushed out of the blocks, you had a pretty nice angle, and then within 2 steps, you started to come up by about 8 to 10 degrees each time. Okay, so you're losing huge chunks of your drive phase. In your drive phase, you always want to have that initial angle that you push out with, and then with each step, you should only increase that angle by about 2 to 3 degrees. So that's really all I have for you with your block start. We're going to zoom out and watch the whole thing in slow motion. Alright, so if you ever have any questions, just let me know. My cell phone number again is 715-619-0150.